Hey everybody, sorry about the wait for this one, but there's going to be more coming soon. Protect yourself and your equipment on any budget. A lot of us don't have enough money to buy all the equipment that we want. So this is a lesson about the right kind of equipment for the right kind of place at the right kind of time. I can't feel my feet. The water is up to my neck, and my hat is the only dry thing on my body. 6 inches in front of my face is my Nikon D80, attached to the top of my Bogan tripod, about 2 inches above the water's surface. The tripod has been extended to its full length. I have a Nikon shutter release cable plugged into the camera. To keep my camera from being swept away by the swift current, I have one hand firmly planted on the tripod's center column to hold it steady on the gravelly bottom of the creek. My free hand is employed with making adjustments on the camera and pressing the shutter release button that is clenched between my teeth at the end of the cable. The glacier-fed water is between 40 and 45 degrees, cold by any standard. Somewhere nearby I can hear the warning call of an American dipper, the only songbird in North America that swims. I am standing in Oneonta Creek, in Oneonta Gorge, a slot canyon that is little more than a crack in the walls of the Columbia River Gorge in northwest Oregon. I'm wearing my 10-year-old 4.3mm surfing wetsuit. It's at least one size too small now, but it still keeps me relatively warm. This is a precarious position to put yourself in, with a camera and lens that together cost nearly $2,000, not counting the tripod and shutter release cable. This in turn begs the question, just how can I protect my camera equipment from harm out in the field? The answer may be depressing. You simply cannot protect your camera from everything. There is inherent risk to both your equipment and yourself in everything you do in the field, especially if you, like me, tend to venture into some of the more hazardous areas of the wild in order to get the best shots possible. This may seem a small price to pay if you get that one perfect shot, but it can still create some anxiety. Happily, there are easy methods that one can employ in order to protect both your equipment and yourself on any budget. My expertise falls under the budget of one who has almost no budget at all. I am, to use the old phrase, a starving artist. I have a day job. I work security, more often than not, 7 days a week. But even on a low budget, there are cheap and even free ways to take care of your equipment on a hazardous photography expedition. Living in the Pacific Northwest, the most common danger to my equipment is, perhaps unsurprisingly, water. Rain, waterfalls, creeks, even fog, all pose a threat to cameras and lenses. Umbrellas are bulky and can get in the way when you are already carrying a heavy tripod and your camera with lens and perhaps a spare lens in a bag, not to mention your personal protective equipment. So what should I use to protect my camera? In these situations, my essential equipment is a plastic grocery bag. We all have them, usually in abundance, and they work very well. In the rain or other wet conditions, I'll keep one wrapped around the camera and at least 2 extra in my pocket. I'll change out the bags as necessary. I also will use my hat to set on top of the camera. The hat isn't waterproof, but it does absorb the water without transferring it to my Nikon, and it just happens to fit exactly over the top of a Nikon D80 body with a Nikon 24-120 vibration reduction lens attached. If you have a baseball cap and plastic bag together, so much the better. I also sometimes use an old Army MRE bag, which is made of thick, heavy plastic and is completely waterproof, though the thickness can make it harder to manipulate. When you hike a trail that has waterfalls that fall directly onto the trail, like Eagle Creek in the Columbia Gorge or Silver Falls near Salem, Oregon, then it is also a good idea to carry a soft cloth in your pocket to dab those little specks of water that hit the lens glass, ruining an otherwise great shot. When you trudge through places with deeper water or mud, you might find you need a little more protection for your equipment. In the earlier mentioned Oneonta Gorge, the water depth varies depending on the season and the rainfall, but I have seen the water as deep as 15 feet at one place. That means swimming if you want to get to the beautiful and photogenic waterfall half a mile in at the back of the slot canyon. For this and other similar situations, I have a Pelican padded hard case, which is completely waterproof. I have the 15-inch model, which easily holds my camera with lens attached, plus 1 extra lens, a couple plastic bread bags, and a dry cloth. I can strap my tripod to my back and use a rope to pull the hard case along with little difficulty. The cost for the Pelican case? When I bought it, $85. In the 5 years since I made this purchase, it has more than paid off numerous times. My Pelican case has also come in handy when rock climbing to get pictures of birds or the view from high up on a mountain or cliff. Case in point, Ponting Mountain in south-central Alaska. A little better than 5,000 feet, this is a comparatively small but very steep mountain with no trails between it and the Richardson Highway. That is 3 or 4 intense, mosquito-infested, bushwhacking miles. And once actually on the mountain, there are numerous places where it is necessary to use both hands. Wear a camelback to keep hydrated, and strap the case and your tripod to your back. This efficiently protects your camera and lenses from damage. I've read that a Pelican case can withstand the weight of a large pickup truck being driven over it, though I've never tested this theory personally. Protecting your body from harm in any extreme outdoor setting is relatively easy. In my experience, the most important factor in outdoor survival can be summed up in one word: hydration. Wherever you go, bring water with you, even to a place like Oneonta Gorge, where you will spend more time in the water than out. Remember, you can't drink the water here, and your body still loses moisture, even when you're cold and wet. If you have one, wear a camelback. If you don't, bring a water bottle, or better yet, 2 or 3. Bring small, energy-sustaining food items. Whole wheat bread is good energy food, and it's cheap. If you're after protein, then it's easy to pack a couple of protein bars or a small bag of trail mix. I always bring raw organic celery with me for electrolytes. To protect your body from the elements, remember to wear thin, loose clothing in both cold and hot weather. Long sleeves and breathable fabric are 2 things to employ in all situations. For hot weather, wear waterproof sunscreen. For cold, do the same. It seems counterintuitive, but there are more UV rays when it is cloudy than on a clear, sunny day. Always carry an extra layer with you. If you can't afford to buy new outdoor clothes, shop the second-hand stores. It might take some looking, but it is not unusual to find a $200 shirt for $10 or $15. Always wear a hat in the field. On a hot day, it will protect both your skin and your eyes. On a cold day, it will help you retain warmth. You can lose up to 80% of your body heat through your head. If it looks like rain, bring a light waterproof jacket or poncho. Carry a small space blanket and a small flashlight in case of emergency. You can easily fit both of these in a pants or backpack pocket. If you're camping, a military poncho and 4 sticks make a waterproof tent. Cost for the poncho? About $10 at a surplus store, and that space blanket will work well to keep you warm overnight, though you won't want to use it more than one night in a row. Some of these methods of gear and personal protection may seem oversimplified, and some of them may seem overly complicated, but they are all relatively cheap, and they all work well for me. When you're out there, mess around and find what works best for you. Never let a lack of equipment stop you from going out to do what you love to do. If you can't afford what you want, work with what you have to achieve your photography goals. Believe me, when you get that perfect shot that nobody else got, because you were willing to go where and when they weren't, the trade-offs will be worth it. That's all for this edition of Hello World. Stay tuned. More videos or sound bits are on the way.